What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels, and it is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, year of our Lord. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What up to all of my friends and family? What's up, friends? Did y'all like the show? Did y'all enjoy the show last night? It's so weird, very, very weird doing a show from home instead of actually being in the studio, but I'm actually making some very significant progress on the studio. So again, we are on schedule. Actually, we a little bit ahead of schedule. I don't know if I can actually show you guys some of the pictures of what's happening, but I'll see if I can find a couple of pictures really quickly. Mm-mm-mm-mm. See if I can get a couple pics in the building of what is happening with the studio so that you can kind of get an understanding of what you're going to see going into the new year. So let me see if I can get those up real quick. That's one, two. I only seen one photo. Hold on. Give y'all a little bit of an update. So this is one of the pictures of what's happening at the studio. So as you can see, everything has been removed. Um, you can see the marble table over there. A lot of the progress has happened inside of my studio. So we built multiple different sets, and then I'll share one more photo with y'all. I don't want to give too much information, but this is also one of the spaces in the set. So it's a lot happening. It's a lot happening inside of the studio. Multiple different sets that's being built. Things is changing. Got construction workers in there all day, every day. So that is why we are here working from home all day, every day. All right. So again, you're gonna have multiple different sets, multiple different things. That whole wall is gonna be pretty much covered with marble. And yeah, man, it's I can't wait. I can't wait till 2025 when I can get back into my studio and we can get back to business. You know what I'm saying? So that is an update of what's going on. Again, we got multiple different sets that's being built, new cameras, new lighting, new microphones, new everything. Literally new computers. Every single thing is actually probably going to cost me a little more than 120 grand. So we'll see what's happening. I always encourage people a lot of times before we get into the show. I always like to encourage people to invest in yourself, grow your business, put money back into the business, stop stealing from yourself. So many people are so focused on stealing from themselves, and they rob themselves of their future. Even when you have a little bit of success, sometimes, a lot of times, once you get that success, you walk away from it because you so focused on what you did and not focused on where you're going. So I would encourage people a lot of times. What up to my girl Molly? Molly was public enemy number one last time. A lot of times people don't reinvest into themselves because they satisfied with where they are. But I didn't get to where I am, and you didn't get to where you are by being satisfied with your current state. You can be content, you can be appreciative, you can be thankful of where you are, but don't just sit there and think that it's okay for you to just be satisfied and just rest on your laurels. You got so much more life in you, so many more things that you need to accomplish, things that you need to do, places that you got to travel, experiences that you need to have, companies that you need to build, people that you need to help. So much that you have to do. And so I don't want y'all to just say, okay, it's okay because this is what the rest of the world is doing. Focus on growth. Focus on continuing to push yourself. Focus on what you have next. All right. So make sure that y'all put money into yourselves. The best investment that you can make is not in the stock market. The best investment that you can make is not into a house. The best investment that you can make is not into people, but it's into yourself. All right. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to all of the people that's continuing to run it up. I would encourage you guys also to make sure that you get your tickets December 14th to come and kick it. In Detroit, discount code Anton. That link is in the description. Also, on top of that, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. I had to put some additional edits on the video, but I'm gonna drop it literally right after we get off of the show today. So make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. The best day to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. And then last but not least, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. That's your reasonable price of admission coming into the show today. If you've been here more than once, I would encourage you guys to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you'll know when we go live, or you'll get reminded when we go live every single weekday. All right. Y'all ready to get into the show? Let me read a couple of super chats and then we're going to go on from there. Great morning, Mr. Daniels. Bag chasers in the chat. Shout out to Crown. I appreciate you. Chad for more says, good morning, AD. Send an old fight club of you and Kai. I'm not sure who Kai is, but okay, I got you. Good day, Anton. What's the most problematic part of content production for you right now? The most problematic part of content production? Um, problematic. I wouldn't say that I have any problems. I would say that I can't duplicate myself. I think that the biggest thing that any person in business in general, not just content creation, but the biggest thing for any person that's in business is duplicating yourself, because grooming other people to be great is the biggest thing that you can do to continue to grow your company, while at the same time being very very difficult to do because everybody don't have the same level of work. I mean, they don't have the same work ethic, they don't have the same dedication, they don't have the same mindset. So it's very very tedious. Growth is always the most difficult part for me, because a lot of times I don't believe that my growth I believe that my growth is outpacing my ability to nurture it. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you capped. You capped and continue until you continue to find the right people. You can't expand into other channels. You can't run as many shows as you want to because you're only one person. So the content creation part is easy. The production, the things that I do on a regular basis, because I know me. When you're not dependent on other people, you have that level of consistency. But then you hit a cap when it comes to growth. So the hardest part of any successful person is always going to be, whether or not you're able to grow the company as much as you want to and as effectively as you want to, and making sure that you meeting the expectations and you meeting the vision that you set out for yourself for the entire year. But I will say that every year I have exceeded expectations that I have for myself. So that's a really great question. Shout out to Camille Edwards. I like that. King Jacquin is in the building. Says, Anton, what up, though, from Flint Town? What up to my Flintstones in the building? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I also want to acknowledge a few people on Cash App before we get started with the show. All right. And then we're going to jump right into quick hits right after that. So I want to acknowledge ESDC. I also want to acknowledge Mike That Dude. And I want to acknowledge the man, the king, said tuition for Jennifer Lewis. Jennifer Lewis was crashing out, wasn't she? Shout out to everybody. I appreciate y'all. Welcome to all the new bag tasters. I see everybody that's tapped into the Patreon. Shout out to y'all. And yeah, man, so let's have a great show. Let's have a great morning. And let's finish the year off strong. That's the most important, right? We have to finish strong. We can't rest on our laurels. I didn't get all the way into the 12th month only to fumble or to take a break and say, okay, yeah, I made it. Nah, we going to bust through this year and we going to run into 2025 hitting the ground running. When everybody else is taking their time, when everybody else is on vacation, then that's when we hit it. All right. So make sure that y'all continue to finish strong, grind, hustle, grow, and let's get to it. All right. I'll continue to read super chats throughout the show. Thank you to everybody that support what we got going on. All right, y'all. Let's get to it. We got to get the quick hits. All right. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to. But we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on in these streets. First things first, mass shooting in Chicago, 8 people injured. Check it out.
Showing you breaking news tonight, 8 people shot inside a home on the southwest side. 3 are dead, 5 more are recovering.
And WGN's Brona Tumulty has been covering developments all day. She joins us tonight from police headquarters with the latest on the investigation. Brona?
Good evening, guys. Yeah, terrifying situation for those in and around that home this afternoon. A total of 8 people were shot, 2 of whom were dead when police arrived. A third passed away later at the hospital. We're told it all started with a party and quickly devolved into something else entirely.
I was just like, oh, it's just another day in Chicago.
L. Towers was at home today in Chicago Lawn when he heard what he says is an all too familiar sound.
I heard maybe 10, over 10 shots. I just heard like screaming, people like running out the house screaming.
What seemingly started as a party at a home on 59th and St. Louis devolved into chaos after 2 p.m.
Like I said, it's sad and everything, but, I'm in shock just like everybody else.
Police racing to the area, finding gunshot victim after victim inside.
I got another person shot on the first floor.
There were a total of 6 in that home, 2 of whom were already dead. But there was also an additional pair of victims who'd already left for the hospital.
2, I believe, self-transported, and the others were taken via the CFD ambulances. A total of 8 individuals from this incident had been shot. 4 males, 4 females, Hispanic background, ages 20 to 35. 3 of the male subjects succumbed from their injuries involved in today.
We're told gatherings here have been a regular occurrence over the last few months. Chief of Patrol John Hine offering condolences tonight and confirming this is a residence authorities have been to before.
There have been calls of service at this residence before, yes.
Neighbors say police are often in the area.
I've been here my whole life and I always remember shootings and people getting killed. It's the same thing 30 years ago.
Violence so prominent, it's part and parcel of everyday life. For some, as second nature as breathing.
It's normal a lot of times when you've grown up in those environments and you just subject yourself. And that's why I always say, man, why do y'all settle? Like, why do y'all just look at y'all situation or where you live at? And I'm okay with you minimizing your costs and staying down until you come up. But you still got to come up. And there's people that live there their entire lives and they be like, oh man, gunshots is just normal. That's just cool with me. Man, I got to aspire for greater. When something becomes regular for me, that's when I know I'm stagnant. I'm not sitting around while everybody eat their own and eat themselves. I'm changing my mentality. I'm changing my environment and I'm changing my circumstances to go along with it. I got to work on the trifecta. But that is what happened. Over in Chicago, mass shooting, 8 people taken out. That's unfortunate. In addition to that, this story kind of broke my heart. And I'm learning more about it as I go, so I'll keep you guys updated on what's happening with this. Check it out.
Neighbors confirm here on the west side of Detroit, 2 young teens have been sleeping outside on the porch in this freezing cold weather.
It hurt every night to go to sleep and know these kids out here.
Neighbors here on Leslie Street off Dexter say that 2 kids sleep every night on the porch. It seems like an extension of their home. There's a toothbrush, shoes, blankets, and more.
Whoa. Let me back up. I seen some girl that was giving me some advice in the chat. I'm going to address that shortly. Let me see something real quick.
Like an extension of their home. There's a toothbrush, shoes.
Is those Balenci's? Those is old Pradas, Air Force Ones, Balenciagas, Jordans, and something else on the porch. Huh.
Blankets and more. And they've been sleeping here since July.
In July, it was 80, 90 degrees. Now it's 20 degrees. You know what I'm saying? So something needs to be done.
It's cold, and they be out there at nighttime.
And what about the parents? What do you know about the parents?
They get up every day and go to work. I know that.
Attempts were made to contact the listed owner of the home, but no luck. What do you think should happen?
I think they need to be placed somewhere in a better place because they never here. I do catch them walking up at night, but they need to be placed somewhere. It's too cold for them to be sleeping outside. They only kids.
And neighbors say both police and CPS have been called, but still the kids remain sleeping outside. And this Facebook video by Mark DeAndre Live has gone viral, showing the kids in this situation, which prompted this community organizer to try and help.
I'm out here to help because I heard that it was 2 juveniles on the porch in the area that we work in doing community violence intervention.
Neighbors tell us that the kids do go to school and participate in extracurricular activities where they can eat and get cleaned up.
Toothbrush on the porch is a wild thing.
Sleeping on the porch.
That break my heart, honestly, because most of the time when you see situations where people turn into crash dummies, it's certainly because they got bad parents. And the parents go to work every day. The kids go to school every day. I remember when I went to Cass Tech, and Cass Tech was basically a mishmash of a lot of smart kids that came from all socioeconomic backgrounds and circumstances from all over the city and outside of the city because it was considered, and it still is considered, the best public high school in Detroit to where you even had to test to get in it, right? And I just remember going to visit some of my homies' hoods and circumstances, and I was seeing how they was living. And to even see them survive and to ultimately become successful today, with the circumstances that a lot of kids have to subject themselves to, is crazy. Sleeping on the porch in 20, 30-degree weather is insane. And they get up and they go to school every day, and it just becomes normalized. And, it's hard to break the cycle when you basically subjecting your kids to less than poverty-stricken conditions. I mean, sleeping on the porch in 20 to 30-degree weather, there's got to be something more than that. It's 100% more than that. So I'm going to stay on top of it and try to give y'all an update. Maybe tomorrow if I can find out some more information about what's going on. And then last but not least, a woman that went viral from Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken, because she went missing, is now spotted crossing the Mexico border voluntarily. Check it out.
Now here at 9, an update on the mysterious disappearance of a woman from Hawaii who vanished after a flight to LAX. Well, tonight...
No. Don't blame that on Detroit. That ain't got nothing to do with the city itself. That got something to do with that particular home of those particular parents. Detroit is awesome. Detroit is absolutely awesome.
Police say the woman may have wanted to disappear. Hannah Kobayashi's family and law enforcement have been searching for her for weeks. KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers at the desk now with what police have uncovered. Mike.
Yeah, Juan, this all kind of really started last week.
What up to my dog Slimmy? What up to everybody in the chat?
She intentionally missed that connecting flight from LAX to New York. Now, tonight, they're saying that they have located her, but they believe she's across the border. I want to show you some video here of Hannah. This has been a search that's been going on for weeks after her November 8th connection was missed at LAX. Her family flew here to Los Angeles to help search for her. LAPD has also been searching for her. And as we've reported, unfortunately, her dad also died by suicide during the search for Hannah. Now, what the LAPD says.
What? See, it's always something else to it. You don't fly to a place intentionally miss your connecting flight, have everybody missing from you, disappear completely, and then walk voluntarily over into Mexico. Nah, I'm not going for it.
Today is that they know exactly where she's at. Now, this comes after a lot of scrutiny by the family against the LAPD, citing some text messages that the family thought was concerning. Today at a press conference, they were asked about those text messages.
So we can't speak to her state of mind. We are aware there have been some communications prior. We are aware of that communication, and we cannot necessarily interpret. I think some of the communication can be interpreted a number of different ways. So at this time, we're not able to interpret those communications without having Hannah present to explain, how she felt when she sent them and what the specific meanings were for those messages.
Yeah, now tonight the LAPD says that Hannah used the metro to get to Union Station, where she used her passport and cash to buy a bus ticket to get to the U.S.-Mexico border. They say that's when she walked across the San Ysidro port of entry into Mexico. LAPD says they will not be following her into Mexico. They already say that they spent a lot of resources trying to find somebody who they say is voluntarily missing, who left signs saying that she wanted to disconnect from her phone. By the way, investigators believe her phone is still here in L.A., and again, they believe that was an intentional move as well. Right. Tonight, they say she seems fine and do not suspect any foul play. Once again, we have reached out to the family for a comment on these latest developments. They have not returned our calls.
That's the weirdest part of this is the fact that the father committed suicide while they were doing a search. It's, again, all of these stories, I think that there's more to it. I don't just look at it on the surface and say, oh man, he was so frustrated that he decided to kill himself. Get out of here with that nonsense. Way more to it. She missed a connecting flight intentionally, buy a bus ticket, take her passport and cash, and then cross over into Mexico, and that's the end of the story. Nah. So I'm gonna stay on top of these things. They intrigue me. They do intrigue me. So I'll stay on top of it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. Anyways, all right. So I want to address let me read a super chat. Well, actually, I want to address something that somebody says. She said a couple different things, and you know that the chat is my co-host of the day. So APL A Positive Lifestyle says, Anton Daniels, I know you don't want to hear anything from a female or a woman. Well, that's where you already didn't put yourself at a disadvantage by assuming. And when you assume, you make a out of yourself. When you assume, you make an A out of yourself. So you automatically came into this conversation and into the chat with a negative disposition and bad intentions. All right, so let's continue on. I like the chat. I like to interact with the people. But please stop mixing campaign politics with wealth building. You are too smart for that. I'm sorry? Listen, let me help you to understand what the Millionaire Morning Show means, baby. We cover everything: business, layoffs, local politics, all of that. We cover every single thing. Here's the thing: it all comes back down to the money. It all comes back down to wealth building. It all comes back down to where the money is going. So I'm not really sure if you new here, and I don't know if you changed your name or what is that happening. But first of all, I'm gonna need you to not run in the Victim Olympics by identifying as a woman and thinking that just because you're a woman that I'm not supposed to listen to you or that that's supposed to mean anything to me, because I take advice from anybody. But more importantly, I am going to continue to cover everything the way I see fit. The things that's most meaningful, that I believe makes the most sense for people to know about, is exactly what I'm going to cover. Now, I don't know what you think I'm too smart for. I'm just a lowly C student. I'm a lifetime C student, so I'm a little bit dumber than everybody else. So I got to take my time and figure it out. But um, I'm never going to stop mixing anything. I'm going to give my opinion. I'm going to talk about the money. I'm going to talk about relationships. I'm going to talk about politics. I'm going to talk about local, national politics. And I'm also going to state my position, and I'm going to stick my stake in the sand and tell you where I stand on different issues. Now, what you take from that, that's up to you. But always want to address occasionally when I see something that's interesting inside of the chat. All right? I love my ladies. Ask Messy. Ask Messy. I love my ladies. So anyways, again, this is your first time here. Hit a like for the algorithm. If you've been here more than once, make sure you subscribe and tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, and then get your tickets to come and see me and kick it with me in person. All right? And we don't operate in an echo chamber. I want everybody to be able to get their thoughts off. All right, y'all. Let's continue to rock out with the show. So let's deep dive into this conversation about Biden, right? I want to get into it because I'm bothered. I'm really, really bothered about a lot. I'm bothered by the idea. Y'all done? Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm bothered by the idea that people are supposed to just take this on the surface, and that the only conversations that's being communicated is conversations about whether or not you would pardon Biden, or you would pardon Hunter, or you would pardon your son, or you would do it in the same position as him. We not in the same positions as them. You not them. And if you had greater responsibilities or you was in a higher position, you would be held to a higher standard. But that's not the only thing that I want to talk about. As more information comes out, and as I go back and do my research and look at all of the investigations from Hunter Biden and things like that, I question everything, every single thing. And so, also on top of that, I like to source my news or different conversations from different networks. We look at it, we evaluate it, we do our own research, and then we come to our own conclusion. And I thought that this was a fascinating conversation. And I'm going to tell you why it's a fascinating conversation. I'm fast forwarded a little bit.
The blowback.
Up to when they started bringing in the correspondence and they wanted to get their insight. And so let's have a conversation. Let's go from there. All right.
Scott Jennings. So, Karen, you just heard Democrat Greg Stanton, Democratic Governor of Colorado Jared Polis. There are Democrats saying they're not happy that President Biden made this decision.
Yeah, well, tough. The president went ahead and did what he thought was right for him and to protect his son. And I think there are going to be Democrats who, from a political perspective, are going to feel like they may have to say something, but who probably on the inside understand why President Biden went ahead and did this. And I got to tell you, the crowing from Republicans, and I know my dear friend Scott will have plenty to say about this, but we're talking about, Donald Trump is a convicted felon who literally had pardoned his daughter's father-in-law and just made him ambassador to France. So if we're going to talk about, who's using what system in what fashion, let's put it all on the table and let's be honest about the fact that Donald Trump doesn't really have a leg to stand on in this one.
So first question is, what does this have to do with Trump? If we're talking about and holding Trump accountable for something that he did or didn't do, or so on and so forth, cool. I'm with it. Let's talk about it. Let's debate it. Let's have a conversation about it. But if Hunter is pardoned from Biden, how does that have anything to do with Trump whatsoever? You know what this is called? This is called gaslighting. I tell this to my daughter all the time. Sometimes when I'm holding people accountable, when I'm doing coaching sessions, we have this conversation. And the husband will then express something about the wife that she did. And then the wife will come in and say, but what about when you, no. If that was a concern, then that's something that you should have brought up at the time. And that is a completely different conversation from what we're talking about right now. And what we're talking about is you. And so I found that in order for people to gaslight or to deflect from holding themselves accountable, they act like we're in an uproar. No, listen, Republicans are not in an uproar in this situation. We're entertained. We're laughing. You know why? Because there's not a week that goes by that we don't sit here and look at y'all eat y'all own and destroy yourselves. There's not a week that goes by that conservatives don't look into the news. I'm telling you, listen, it's Tuesday. By next Monday, we're going to have another bombshell report of somebody that didn't crash out from the Harris Biden campaign. They're going to hit the button. They're going to turn Russia into an even more of an enemy. They're going something is going to happen. Obama's going to go over there and crash out. Who knows? We sitting here laughing at y'all. Nobody in the Republican Party is upset right now. We're just holding you accountable. And every single time that y'all decide that y'all want to expose yourselves, we just sit there and laugh and we just be giggling. Kamala Harris, she'll put out a supporter video that's drunk. Hunter Biden, something. Drugs found inside of the White House. Anything. It's always something. I know that there's never going to be a slow news day. That's the only reservation that I had about Trump winning. Because I wanted him to win, but I also understood that if it was some slim possibility of Kamala Harris winning, that we would always have something to talk about and to rag on y'all about. That's the only bad side. The only bad side of this situation is the fact that I knew for a fact there would never be a slow news day when it came to these Democrats in office crashing out. Luckily, we still got Jasmine Crockett. We still got AOC. We still got Gavin Newsom. We still got Brandon Johnson. We got all of these great people. Karen Bass, Mike Johnston over in Denver. We got all of these crash dummies. J.B. Pritzker, Kathy Hochul. We got all of these crash dummies so that we can continue to be entertained. But let's continue.
So, Scott Jennings, what about that? Steve Bannon, Charles Kushner, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, and Charles Kushner not just pardoned, but also apparently about to be nominated ambassador to France.
Joe Biden is leaving office making the strongest possible case for Donald Trump that anybody could possibly make it, and that's that our government and our justice system is of, by, and for the elites and nobody else. He ran to banish Trumpism from our political system in this country, and he has left it politically and now institutionally the strongest possible political force in this country. It is a complete and utter failure by the head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. Facts. Never again do I want to hear, oh, Donald Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Donald Trump will abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
Let's back up for a minute. He said something that was key, that it goes over everybody's head. I'm going to replay it for you guys.
Year blank and abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows.
That's the question. That's the only question that we need to be having a conversation about. When the initial pardon comes out, there's always going to be the emotional response of, well, that was his son. Oh, you would have did it too. Oh my God. I mean, listen, we know that he's a mess up. That's his only last son and all of this stuff. Once the emotions subside, the conversations can be had. And so just putting 2 and 2 together as a C student, okay? And this is my opinion, nothing that I can substantiate, but this is just my opinion. Putting things together as a C student. So Scott asked a relevant question that we've all been thinking, but we just started to see it on a national platform. Why would he give him a blanket pardon back to 2014? Because see, the official statement Was Joe Biden running in the Victim Olympics and acting like his son was being persecuted and prosecuted because his father was Joe? Buying guns, filling out false documentation to buy the gun, pleading guilty to fraud when it comes to taxes and all of that. Cool. Okay, Joe, let's assume for the sake of conversation that you're 100% right. You've been persecuted. We're going to leave Trump out of it because I'm not going to call you a hypocrite of what it is that I've seen as far as election interference with Trump and all of that. Cool. Let's just take you at your word and assume for the sake of conversation that that is 100% true. Then why do we have a pardon going all the way back specifically to 2014? Why do we have, again, because he was only convicted of two things. Why do we have a pardon going all the way back to 2014? Almost 11 years ago. It's almost 2025. Sweeping. Because let's put two and two together here. All right, we're gonna be C students. Let's continue to rock out. Well, if you are pardoning him back all the way to 2014, back when you were the vice president of the United States of America, where Hunter Biden is allegedly being accused of all kind of dealings with Ukraine, China. We're now somehow, some way funding a Ukraine war. I'm not correlating the two. I'm just using my C student logic and perspective. So I'm always open to the possibility that I'm wrong. But here's the thing. What can the vice president do or give authorization for that the president wouldn't know about? Because I know we only talking about Biden. First we was talking about Hunter, then we talking about Biden, and now I'm just asking the questions. I'm not being accusatory. I'm not saying that anything can, should, would, or did happen. Thank you, I appreciate you. But I'm asking the question, what is it that Biden could have authorized on an international level that his son would be involved in, and who knows how far-reaching it is, that the president at the time wouldn't know about? Oh no, not the Messiah, not Obama, not the Obamas, not the Obamas. Scott said it. Let me play it for you one more time so that we can go back and get the insight.
Sitting on, going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president, we are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes. And Joe Biden, amazingly, knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
See, it's easy depending on Fredo. It's easy depending on Fredo. Fredo being Hunter Biden, because Hunter is the F up of the family, obviously. It's easy depending on Fredo, but I've just been questioning and I've been asking myself, is it Hunter that he's pardoning? Or is it something a little bit more to it? Let's continue.
Let me give some context to what Scott is saying just there, Karen, before you address it. Because this pardon, I do not believe we have mentioned it, not just granting clemency for the crimes for which Hunter Biden was convicted of illegally purchasing a gun, a tax evasion, but also a blanket pardon for any federal crimes that may have been committed basically between 2014 and 2024. So what about that literal get out of jail free card for a 10-year period, Karen?
Well, look, literally, the president recognizes that Republicans have been, for years now trying to attack the president himself, go after his family. And when you have someone who literally ran their campaign on retribution, on the idea of I will be your retribution and getting back at his enemies, I would imagine, obviously I haven't spoken to the president about this, but I would imagine the president took a look at this and said, I want to make sure this is ironclad, that there is nothing that can be done to circumvent what I'm going to do to protect my son and to try to take the target off of his back once and for all. So that's my reading of it. But again, I think that the hypocrisy here is astounding. I mean, Donald Trump has said and done things, said things that he and done.
When in doubt, always.
And
go
again,
back to
he's
Trump.
a convicted
That
felon
strategy
himself.
worked
He
for
has
y'all
used
last
his
election.
power to benefit his friends, his wealthy allies. In this instance, we're talking about a man who decided to take care of his son after years of unrelenting attacks. I don't blame him.
Scott, did you have the same concerns over a justice system for the elite, as you put it before, when it was Donald Trump pardoning Steve Bannon, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, Charlie Kushner? Same concern then?
Why does CNN continue to try to bully Scott into saying what they want to say? Why is that a thing? Why do they keep deflecting and not holding accountable the person and talking about exactly what happened? How did this become Trump's fault that Hunter Biden got pardoned and we asking additional questions?
Listen, you guys can spend all day long trying to spin this, that this is Donald Trump's fault, that this is somehow caused by Donald Trump. Oh, he's appointing the wrong people. Oh, he did it. Oh, this is the worst possible thing a president could possibly do to his party and to the country, to sit for a year and say, I will not do this. I will not do this. The rule of law is sacred. We have to respect the justice system. Juries, we have to respect juries. We have to respect the guardrails and the norms of our democracy. These people are liars. Inflation, it's transitory. Afghanistan, it's a success. The border is secure. Robert Hur is a liar. The videos are cheap fakes. Biden has a cold. He'll never drop out. Oh, I'll never pardon Hunter. It's all a lie. It is all a grift. Every American, except the most partisan, brain-rotted people, are going to be outraged by this today. He is going to leave off. You think 38, 39% job approval is bad? Just you wait. Just you wait. He's disgraced today. Outrageous.
You don't need to, but Scott, you don't need to hurl names and say people like me are brain rotted. Come on, that's a little beyond the pale, even for you, Scott.
Listen,
I disagree. We can
for
disagree
yourself.
about
You don't
this.
have to
We don't
defend
have to
this.
call
He's
each other
leaving
names.
office. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to die on this hill. You can say this is wrong because everybody knows that it is.
I'm saying that to all of y'all that continues to stay on the Democratic plantation. Y'all don't have to die on this hill. You do not have to go down with the Democratic Party. Hey, to all of my black people that's running in the Victim Olympics, let me say something to y'all real quick. You do not have to die on this hill. You don't have to die on this hill. You too can distance yourself away from what I believe to be some of the most corrupt people to ever walk the face of this earth. It's a reason why even the people that's the highest up say it's the party of war. It's a reason why all of the people that truly was donating to that campaign, you don't see their faces. Y'all don't have to defend this nonsense. Y'all don't have to continue to be on this plantation. You don't have to continue to make excuses. I know that your family is trying to convince you, hey man, bad man Trump. I know that it's going to be hard for you to tell Gam Gam, hey, listen, I just can't do this anymore. At some point, you're going to have to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and walk away from this. I don't really necessarily need to know. Because, see, we pray for discernment all the time. But then this is the same reason why y'all find yourselves in situations with boyfriends that put their hands on you. Ooh. This is the same reason why you keep being invested in a Pookie, knowing that he ain't never going to change. Oh, I want Tupac in a suit. Listen, Pac ain't never changing. This is the reason why we see so many children out of wedlock, because you keep ignoring every single sign that's in front of you. Do you have to see him put his hands on you prior to you knowing that he seems to be a little bit more aggressive and abusive? And I'm not going to take that red flag for granted. I'm going to just go ahead and move out of the way. You going to still hold it down, huh? I see it happen all the time. People ignore the signs and they stay loyal to somebody that is going to drag you through the mud. It's the same thing when it comes to relationships. It's the same thing when it comes to politics. It's the same thing when it comes to friends. It's the same thing that when it comes to people. It's the same thing when it comes to money. It's the same thing when it comes to your job. It's the same thing. You are holding on to something that is not best for you. Everything around you, some of y'all are saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. God revealed it to me, but God keeps showing it to you right in front of your face. He put you right here somehow, some way. The Millionaire Morning Show appeared on your algorithm. Anton is telling you right to your face, everything that I tell you is aligned with what you're going through in your life. And you'll sit there and look at God and say, can't be. Not me. Yes, you. Yes, you. You. You the dummy. You the punching bag. You the voter. You the person that continue to donate into something that you know is not good for you. You the person that continue to put your children on the Democratic plantation and give them generational curses so they could be sitting there begging for student loan forgiveness that ain't never coming, but them votes is still gonna be there. You the person that voted for the people to bring in immigrants to replace you, take your home, take your tax dollars. They gonna use your money to pay for your own demise and then replace you and then give you a pat on the butt and say, thank you for being loyal. Thank you for being loyal. Praying every day, Lord, show me myself. Let me know. Give me a sign of whether or not I'm supposed to be here or not. All right, cool. Give you 30 signs. Stop. Don't go. Look, crazies. You pass all of the signs and you just drive right off the road. But God ain't saying it to me directly. He ain't going to say it to you directly. He wants you to use your own good God-given common sense to make a decision and get the heck up off that plantation before they throw a firebomb on it. Oh, you want Jamie Foxx to come in. You want Django to come in and save you from yourself. Who that on that nag? You. Keep on going after Broomhilda. Is Broomhilda in there? Oh, trying to save you from yourself. We free. Ours is free. Give us free. We free. We free. We rich. We thriving. We prospering. You the only person still dusty. Have you ever noticed that? Have y'all ever noticed that the people that rail against the ones that they say is sellouts are the ones that's in the most dust? They got dust particles all over them. No, that's not dust. That's sprinkles. No, that's dust. You dusty. Po, dusty, broke, destitute, out of luck, ain't got a pot to piss in, going to the cash advance place, paying 375% interest to the very white man that you hate, keep on asking for reparations, got $1,400 car notes, no license, no insurance, running from the repo man. That man is hitting on you and you paying his bills at the same time, and you gonna sit here and tell me and have a conversation with me about what you ain't gonna do. Okay, I got you. I'm with it. I'm all for it. I done seen some of the dustiest people that had some of the most staunch, toughest positions go and get married to some of the dustiest men I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh my God. I mean, was so dusty. And then you go to their house and you see roaches everywhere. You a dust mite. 100%. We got all these things. How come the poorest people? Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me rock out real quick. Give me a second. Why is it that the poorest people have the highest standards? When did that happen? The richest ones are usually the nicest. They have the most humility. They have the most dedication to the people. They give back. And then I see other people talking about how much they gave and why they didn't give more. You at the food pantry, baby. You at the look. You are about to be outsourced. You tired. Your wig is crooked. Your wig crooked. It's crooked. Your Reeboks is leaning. You keep talking about how you gonna boycott Walmart. You in a food desert. You ain't got nowhere else to shop. You ain't got nowhere else to shop. Your PPP money done ran out. You in the hood. You a squatter. You a squatter. By definition, you're a squatter. You live in a bando. You still cable still. You can't have no standards. I know what you're really living like. Stop. Listen, don't lie to me. Don't you lie to me. I know what the numbers are. I know what you living like. I drove by your neighborhood. I did. That's why I got 10 on my windows and I roll them up because I don't even want you to see me coming. I just roll right on by. Apple Maps took me on the detour because they had an accident on the freeway. I had to come up, ride through your hood, and get back on the freeway. I said, I'm never going back over there again. You're not going to sit here and tell me about how your high standards are. You ain't got no education. Oh man, I'm going to this. No, you went and got a whole lot of student loans. You don't have no standards. You can't have an opinion when you broke. You can't have an opinion when you dusty. If you got installment payments on Klarna, Afterpay, PayPal, or any of them, you need to shut up and listen. It's not time for you to talk. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. If you got more than 1 baby father, you need to shut up and listen. God is trying to deal with you right now. Real talk. Straight up. For all my fellas, if you out here taking your paycheck after you pay your taxes and you out here trying to go over here and pay for some box, you got to shut up and listen. It's a bet. Listen, I promise you on everything in me, and we going to get back to the show. I promise you on everything. There is a better life out here. And it's not just some chains on Instagram. It's more than just a Dodge Charger, wide body, stolen. You don't have to be running on slicks inside of the wintertime. Your tire, you need an alignment. Your Altima is missing a bumper. You spend all of your money and you spend more money on your car than you do with your living arrangements. You don't have to be dusty. I promise you, it's a whole nother life out here. And so while all of these people keep keeping you in a victim in the Dust Olympics, you know what they doing? They going home to their big house that's paid for. They got land, they got opportunity, they networking, and then they get on these live streams and they tell you about how you need to vote based off of what's in their best interest, not your best interest. What's in their best interest, not your best interest. That's what they say. And so while they sitting in their house, Ricky Smiley is probably in a 10,000 square foot house doing his show from his bedroom. You believe in him and he getting paid from the Democratic Party. You believe in these people and you continuing to be led down the path of destruction so that they can stay rich. They eat you for breakfast. You are the lunch. You are the monetization. They don't add no value into your life. They ain't told you nothing. Ask me how many of these people that's race hustlers, how much value did they add into your life? I think that they're phenomenal content creators, but I'm just asking you, what insight and what information were you able to take from them that allowed for you to better provide for your family? That's what I'm asking. How much more effective can you be in ensuring that your daughter and your son don't have student loans by taking their advice? Because, see, you don't love me if you're not giving me some opportunity or some insight in how I can improve my life. Help me to understand, outside of the entertainment aspect of it, how have they been able to add value into your life, or did they just make you more angry at the white man that you don't even know, and we don't even know who these theys are, so that you can continue to vote based off of identity politics? You ain't never met Kamala Harris in your life. She ain't never checking for you. I remember when they were saying, "Oh man, Trump, you can't even get into the." Yes, I can. Yes, I have, and I will continue to do so. Meanwhile, you don't know her. She don't know you. Her and Dougie is out here doing whatever knows God knows what. Obama don't know you. Obama don't even check for Chicago. You know when Obama come to Chicago to go and check on his presidential library, he ain't checking for y'all. He over here narrate. I heard Obama on a National Geographic navigating, talking about whales. They daughters ain't with you. They daughters ain't hanging out with your daughters. Michelle ain't kicking it with you. She don't know you. Only time you can go and see her is if you pay to go see her on tour. Y'all sitting here idolizing and pedestalizing these people. They don't care anything about you. They don't know you. They don't see you. They're not checking for you. They don't want to talk to you. And if you ask them for $1, they spit on you. They don't know you. But yes, master, I got to stay loyal to this Democratic Party. They gave you death, destruction. They tied your family to the federal government so that they can break it up. They continue to give you an opportunity to eliminate your babies as a form of contraception. They give you war. And then they told you go to church on Sunday and then make sure you donate to the pastor's offering. So that him and his wife and his boyfriend, because he really got a boyfriend, so his boy, that's why all of the black churches is in Atlanta. So him and his boyfriend, he gonna elevate his boyfriend to be the church choir director. As All's Force, Sassy, Alphabet Community, I don't mind if they come and use my bathroom. I don't care if he pee all over the toilet with his rod. I don't care. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. You's a retard. That's what you are. You's a fool. You a fool. You a whole fool, not a half a fool. You a whole fool. You a fool. You raising fools, and you married to a fool. And he don't even listen to you, but he give in to you because it's happy wife, happy life. You a fool, and your whole family a fool. And they all gonna be poor for the rest of their life. No, I got a 30-year mortgage. I own my own home. No, you rent your home from the mortgage company that make interest off of you, and when you die, they're gonna sell it. You a fool, and you need to open up your mind and realize that whatever your circumstances are, it could be different if you shut the hell up, listen, take the advice, and then make adjustments. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. The minute that you humble yourself, you'll change the circumstances of your entire generation, of your entire family. You so stupid. You so stubborn with that glued on wig to them stupid cornrows on the top of your head, and you don't even realize that you signed your own death warrant and you've literally banished your children into poverty because you continue to be a fool. You an old fool. Your mama a fool. Tell her I said it. Your mama's a fool. I don't care. I care if you unsubscribe. Care if you, I don't like Anton. I don't like the way he said it. I don't like you either. And I don't like your son being raised to come and steal my daughter's hubcaps. Now what? Do something. Do something. Your stupid wig and your dumb eyelashes. You aggravate me. When I see you in the store, you keep on asking for donations and you never got enough money. You always selling your food stamps. Just talking to me. I don't like you. I don't like you either. I don't like you either. And I see your father down there working at the construction site. I'm looking at your daddy right now. I see him right there. You want to see him? I see your daddy down there on the construction site working hard. He down there building my next building. I don't like you either. Now what? So we even. What up to your daddy? Tell him I said what up, though. Anyways, let's continue. Merry Christmas. Let me read some of these super chats and let me move on with the show. So tired of these people. Just determined to be poor. Poor mindset, poor circumstances. Shout out to Doug, says, good morning, have a cup of coffee on me. Thank you, Doug. Elizabeth says, South Korea just declared martial law. Yep, I seen that. AD, I appreciate the show the way it keeps it up. Shout out to you, Denise. I appreciate you. Biden uses 2014 forward to cover up his crimes associated with Ukraine. You said it, not me. Wealth Building says in 2014 was around the Burisma scandal timeline. Divine said, I don't even, honestly, personally, my personal beliefs, I don't even think we got a smidget of what was really going on. Divine Robertson says 10% for the big guy. He better pardon his brother Jim as well, because there's enough evidence on that to put every adult Biden in prison for the rest of their life. High Tolerance says, good morning, AD. Like I mentioned yesterday, there's more to come, and this is only the beginning. Sleepy casted his son's transgressions into the sea of forgiveness. 2 words, Cash Patel. Victim Olympics is the funniest line I've ever heard in a long time. Shout out to Howie. You must be new here. Kevin King says, wife just delivered our firstborn baby. Hey! Congratulations. So that means you didn't, you wasn't into the whole reproductive right thing. Congratulations to you. Fatir Wood says, when is Stock Club? Next week. And Block Club is this week. Yoshi says, God giving smoke screens and you want a cameo. Broomhilda is a Democrat. I know. Foxhole 99 says, Hunter can no longer plead the fifth. There's nothing left to self-incriminate when the state has been wiped clean. Devastator says, it's not dust, it's flour. High Tolerance says, not walking on the outside of the Reeds. Those Uggs looking like they've been doing the war dance 3 seasons straight have entered the combo. Hashtag Mox, MOCS. Lloyd says, just join the Bag Chasers. Shout out to the new Bag Chasers. Join the Patreon so we can get your money up, so we can get your mindset and your money up. Bag Chasers. Link is in the description. Miss Crow T. Shetty says, this is the best morning show on earth. See, this is why they won't let me on national networks for a longer period of time than just one segment. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my girl Jerry. Says, LOL, AD is on one this morning. That's a fact, though. You know me. Sean says, chill, big dog. They can't handle this type of truth. They're going to get it anyway. Bushido Gaming says, AD in his A+ student mode today. C student. Keep cooking, says, man, I appreciate you. Mr. C. What up to Mr. C with the super sticker? I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that's holding me down. Enrich Vestment says, good morning, Anton. Because of you, I've paid off all of my debt. Millionaire Morning Show. Keep giving us the game, giving us the sauce. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. All right, y'all. So let's pivot for a minute. We got to move on. No more ranting. No more ranting. Lawmakers are backtracking. CNN, lawmakers, they trying to spin this. Check it out. Let's spend 10 minutes on this.
Congressman, first, your reaction to Biden's pardon of Hunter.
Well, look, the one thing I certainly agree with is that this was an improperly politicized prosecution. Those 2 charges, as I know from 10 years as a prosecutor in the Department of Justice, are almost never, if ever, charged against a defendant in a standalone indictment. And the reason why they were charged is because Republicans in Congress improperly tried to intervene in an ongoing prosecution to scuttle a plea agreement that Hunter Biden and David Weiss had entered into. The plea agreement was unusual because of Donald Trump's threats of retribution and Hunter Biden's understandable concern that if Donald Trump won, that his Department of Justice would come after Hunter for other crimes that he wasn't charged with but was investigated for. So
let's assume that that's true. Let's assume that Donald Trump and his administration would come after Hunter for other crimes that he wasn't investigated for. What other crimes could Hunter be possibly doing? Is it that Donald Trump would go after him, or potentially, because Trump never said that, is it that potentially Trump's administration would go after Hunter Biden for crimes that he was investigated or not investigated for yet? Or is it that Hunter Biden was doing crimes that he wasn't, or he hasn't been exposed for? Or maybe it goes back into other people. I don't know.
The president is
You ain't did nothing,
exactly
you ain't got
right
nothing to worry
that
about, right?
if his name were Hunter Smith and not Hunter Biden, he would not be charged with this, and that is not a proper outcome here. That's not a proper use of our rule of law. I wish the president had not stated after the plea agreement fell through that he would not pardon Hunter Biden, because it is discouraging that he has now gone back on his word on that. But the merits of the pardon and the reasons for it are legitimate, especially as you look at who Donald Trump is nominating, people like Matt Gaetz, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, all of whom have threatened retribution against Hunter Biden and others.
Okay, you went out.
So wait a minute. I just want to make sure, because in a minute he's going to be eating crow. So wait a minute. You're telling me that you're disappointed that he did pardon him, but you're in agreement that he should have pardoned him. Which one is it, lawmaker? Dan, which one is it? Are you disappointed that he did, or you're validating why it makes sense? Because if you validated why it makes sense from a protection perspective, then that's one thing. Because first we got to have a conversation about what is he protecting himself from. And I don't like the fact that we're not authentic in that. What is it exactly that he's hiding from? That's all I want to know. I don't care about the pardon. I absolutely know that the pardon was coming. Everybody knew that the pardon was coming. We knew that Hunter would never do a day in anything. Hunter was never going to do a day in anything whatsoever. The question isn't that. The question is, what is it that he was pardoned for? And why did you predict that he wouldn't pardon him if you absolutely are saying that he should have pardoned him?
Out on a limb backing up Biden when he said that there would not be a pardon. In July of 2023, just after that plea deal fell through, this is what you said. I want to watch.
Do you think a pardon for his son would be a mistake?
Yes, and I don't think there's any chance that President Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends and anyone who had any access to him. And I think you see that in this case, where he kept on, and Merrick Garland kept on, a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney to investigate the president's son. If there is not an indication of the independence of the Department of Justice beyond that, I don't know what we could look for.
What does that feel like, watching yourself back then, reassuring people that Biden was not going to issue a pardon for his son?
Now, the logical thing to do here is to say, you know what? I got it wrong. I was wrong about Biden. I was wrong about his character. I was wrong about the fact that he was trying to cover up something. I said that he was above reproach and that, he absolutely believed in the justice system. And when he said that he wasn't going to pardon his son, I believed him, and that, I absolutely got bamboozled, and I was supporting this administration, but I was wrong. I was wrong about Democrats. I was wrong about Biden. I'm probably wrong about so many other things. And I take ownership and responsibility for that. Now, most people will forgive that. Most people will forgive that. If I do something wrong and then I come before y'all and I say, you know what? I was off on that. I take responsibility, and accountability is no excuse for it. I got to do better. Let me make it up to you. Or, you know what? Let me prove myself to you, or show you that we all wrong, but at the same time, it's not whether or not I'm wrong, it's whether I take responsibility for it. Most of us, honest to God, would be okay with that. Nobody is against that. Nobody is against or is going to hold you more accountable than you hold yourself. But it's the gaslighting, it's the excuses, it's the cap. We all human. We all fallible. We all do stuff. We all make mistakes. We all have bad judgment at times. We all impaired, whether it be from some alcohol or from a chick that's in front of you. You know what? That butt was just too big. You know what? I feel you. I feel you, big dog. But you're going to have to do better. You right. You're right. No, nobody is immune to it. But it's when you act like you never did it, when we know that you did and you got your hands stuck in a cookie jar and you telling me that I don't see what I saw. I see you. I see you. We have the tape now. We can rewind the tape and say, you know what? You were standing on business. How do you feel about that? Let's see how he answers this.
Yeah, and I think that if that plea agreement and that plea deal had gone through, there would be no pardon.
Stop.
That was a satisfactory outcome.
It had already fallen
that
through.
Only was. Sorry?
When you reacted, this was when the deal had fallen through. And I hear what you're saying about the Kash Patel appointment, but, you know, you took him at his word. So what does that feel like, knowing that he's gone back on it?
Nobody took him at his word. Nobody.
Well, as I said, I'm disappointed that after the plea fell through and it became clear about why it did, including Republican congressional intervention in this case, which made this case very unique and very different from any other case.
This is a different
I think that we all, perhaps I should have as well, recognized that this is not the normal prosecution. I said many times that if Hunter Biden were not Hunter Biden, he would never be charged with these crimes. And when you start to see what Donald Trump is planning to do with his Department of Justice and with his FBI, and the degree to which Hunter Biden has already been shamelessly attacked as a private citizen by Republicans, I certainly understand why the president felt like this miscarriage of justice should not carry forward and that he should not be at risk of retributive prosecution for political reasons, which is not the proper way to execute our rule of law.
So it's Republicans' fault. So don't worry. Listen, when in doubt, when you are stuck, when things are rough for you, you know, I know that CNN and MSNBC are absolutely in shambles right now. I can imagine that in the boardroom and these executive meetings that they are probably they don't know what to do. They are confused. They are brokenhearted. It's issues, problems, troubles. All of the things that they pray against is absolutely the things that they're going through right now. I know that they are in shambles. Gotta be in shambles. No way that they feeling good about what's going on right now. Ratings is tanking. They got to eat crow every single day. They got to bring people to be accountable for their actions. Scott is on there kicking butt and taking names every day. They have to absolutely be in shambles right now. Good God. And then they're not even taking accountability. We can fix this, but y'all don't want to fix it. Let me read a couple of super chats and we'll move on. Still hiring? I'm still going over resumes. I haven't decided on what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm going over resumes. A.R. Smitty says, what AD keeps neglecting to mention is a C student at U of D, Cass Tech, and U of M is an A student anywhere else. Oh no. I just go by the notes. I'm gonna pull my transcripts up. They were planning and paying this war since 2024. I think it was way before that. They just was executing on it. Let me be quiet. That's my opinion. That is my opinion. All right. Let's see. Oh, Stephen A. Smith. So let's put a cap on this by going to Stephen A. Smith and Chris Cuomo and getting what their perspective is on this whole situation. Spend no more than 10 minutes on this. We got to move on.
You know, the Biden situation disgusted me in terms of the parting only from this standpoint, Chris. Nobody on the planet, you want to be a cynic and you want to act like you would be offended by something like that if you're one of those people out there, fine. But no one within reason would have a problem with him saying, it's my son. I love him. There's no way I'm sending him to jail. And I have the power to avoid it. Nobody would blame him for that. But that's not where he went. So I didn't have a problem to answer your question directly with the decision that he made to pardon his son. Boo Boo the Fool knew he was going to do that. I don't care who he stood in front of or sat in front of and said that he wasn't going to pardon his son and he was just going to go by the letter of the law. Please, everybody and their grandmother knew he was going to pardon his son. But to come out and to start talking about how it's been a witch hunt and the Department of Justice and others were after him or whoever it was, and GOP rather was after him. Well, wait a minute. What have y'all been doing with Donald Trump all of these years? Now, you can make an argument about the legitimacy of the cases against Donald Trump compared to what wasn't legitimate, et cetera. That's not the point. The point is it was clearly politicized. You had folks on the left who were hell-bent on going after Donald Trump because they were determined to make sure that he couldn't run for re-election or that these elements would get in the way of him possibly winning re-election. And now we know why more than ever, because they weren't confident they would ever be able to beat him. He'd been a Republican nominee since 2016. He beat Hillary Clinton with the Electoral College vote. He wouldn't concede defeat in 2020, but he did receive over 74 million votes at that particular moment in time. And then you fast forward 4 years later, despite the 34 felony convictions, the 2 impeachments, the bevy of crimes that he had been accused of, the Republican voters out there, the conservative voters out there, and a lot of independents from various communities said, he's the guy we want, and I've said it on many, many occasions. It wasn't about him. Just like it wasn't about Biden in 2020, it was more against Trump. In this particular instance, it was an indictment against the Biden administration, what had been going on for the last 4 years. Some of the things going on with the border, obviously inflation, of course, crime in the streets, of course, woke and cancel culture and all of that, it all played a role. And so for him to come out and to talk about that this was a witch hunt when clearly it could be argued that's exactly what you were doing to Donald Trump, or you assisted in doing, seems beyond hypocritical. And that was what disgusted me. It wasn't his decision. It wasn't him pardoning his son. It was the weak, pathetic explanation that he gave, which has most critics just shaking their heads and raising their eyebrows and saying, what nerve you have.
Now, if Stephen A. Smart is this smart, if Stephen A. Smith is this smart and being able to articulate himself, because he's getting better. Let me give Stephen A. Smith a little bit of credit. I know he's trying to pivot into being more culturally relevant because he's trying to build a platform and a following on YouTube in particular outside of ESPN. And I think that that's a smart thing for him to do. And so he's getting his reps up. He's having conversations. He's getting better. I have to give him his credit. He is getting better. You got to give credit where credit is due. But if Stephen A. Smith is this smart, then why did he vote for him in the first? Why did he vote for Kamala Harris in the first place? Why did he vote for the Democratic Party if everything that he's been saying over these years, and I mean everything that Stephen A. Smith has been saying over the years, has been aligned with what we say here on the Millionaire Morning Show? My question then becomes, then why does he still stay on the Democratic plantation? I cannot and I will not ever take him serious when it comes to having these conversations, because his voting record and what he stands for publicly does not align with what he's advocating for and who he's holding accountable on his platforms. I'm not even sure, because it's hard for me to believe that Stephen A. don't believe what he's saying, because it very much aligns with whatever the popular sentiment is. And he's articulating himself well. I'm giving him credit for that. But my question is, then how come it didn't align when it came to voting? Why do you continue to say, oh no, I stand with Democrats? Why do you continue to vote for Kamala Harris when you said that she was incompetent, she was unable to answer questions, she didn't put herself in the right position, she's not the best for the job? Hunter Biden, lies, stealing, finesse, all of this stuff. Why do they continue to have this conversation and then say, but no, y'all need to vote that other way? Because either one or two things is happening. Either you're a closet Republican or you're a paid plant. Either you're a closet Republican or a paid plant. Let me turn on these lights over here.
Now, I agree with you 100%. I went light on that point in my open because I knew you were going to make it. I agree with you 100%. And he didn't have to do it that way. He could have just said what you said, which is,
That's exactly what I was saying.
hey, look, I don't want them. He's my son, and they're going to go after him. And if I can protect him, I'm going to protect him. You know what else Biden should do? And I know people are going to get upset about this, but just think about it before you go crazy on me. Not you, everybody else. If I were he, I would pardon Trump.
You know something? Honestly,
I would say
honestly,
this
as
has gotta
crazy as this
stop.
sounds, Chris,
Trump don't need your
that's
pardon,
exactly
dog.
what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. Enough's
Don't
enough.
need your
You
pardon.
know what? You're
Enough.
the Democrats. You lost the election. You got your butt whipped. You couldn't prevent him from going back to the White House. More than a dozen cases have been dropped against him. The cases that have been ruled against him, he's going to appeal, and he'll probably get off from having to deal with all of that. It's time to move forward. You want to get at Trump? Sit back and judge what he does. Guess what? You got a midterm election in 2 years. Are you going to be ready if you're the Democratic Party? You should be. He's going to be the presidency for 4 years. You're going to be able to judge every single act that he does. March forward, move forward. Gerald Ford could have let Nixon suffer. You know to say he didn't let that happen. Why? Because it was for the good of the country. The whole hanging Chads issue in 2000 between George W. Bush and Al Gore. Gore could have dragged it on. He didn't. It was for the better of the country. And a lot of times these folks speak about this stuff, but they don't do what they say they're going to do and what they implore others to do, which is where the disgust elevates exponentially for Washington, D.C. Because
Listen, nobody cares about your pardons anymore. Nobody cares about a Joe Biden pardon. Symbolically means nothing as far as how it would affect any other future elections. Dog, I don't care if Joe Biden pardoned R. Kelly and all of the women came out saying, this is the key to ignition. I done fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body. Got every man in here wishing. Tipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what? I'm drunk. It's that freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some. It's a key. I'm on. Yeah. I don't care if he pardoned R. Kelly, Suge Knight, and Diddy all at the same time. It has no relevance anymore. A Joe Biden pardon has no impact symbolically. Symbolically. You know how we give Trump credit for getting out Kodak Black and Lil Wayne and all of them? It has no impact symbolically anymore whatsoever. At all. I don't care how many black women vote at a 90-something% clip. I'm starting to question that. I don't believe anything anymore. I don't believe anything anymore from anybody. Bounce, 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 bounce. Now, usually I don't do this. But let's go ahead and give him a little taste of the remix. Usually I don't do this, but sometimes I might want to give y'all a little taste of the remix. It has no impact whatsoever. Once you're exposed on a presidential level as a person that is basically trying to cover up for potentially something that happened that we don't even know about yet, that we can't substantiate, then it means nothing whatsoever. And so people don't take you seriously. They don't have any regard for you anymore. And so we got to keep it moving from that. Joe Biden is done. Everything that they said that Joe Biden was going to have, everything that they said was awesome about him, it's over. Joe Biden is done. He put a can in him, stick a fork in him. Go ahead and get him his little quilt. Send him over to Camp David for the rest of his 47, 48 days that he got to stay in office. If Joe Biden decided that he didn't want to appear at the inauguration, I wouldn't even be mad. We don't even want to see him. He a disgrace. They asked him, they said, Joe Biden, where you at? He over in Angola. Did y'all know that Joe Biden was over in Angola? Bounce, 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 bounce. What is he doing in Angola? Angolans don't want you. He over in Angola, probably pushing some LGBTQ initiative over there. Where? Y'all don't believe me? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Joe Biden, Angola. He over in Africa. Joe is in Africa. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Over there kicking it with Africa. And declining to answer any questions about his pardon. Yep. Kicking it with Umar Johnson. And he took his son with him. Yes, he did. Joe Biden took his son with him over to Angola. Let me see. Let me see if I can get over there and see real quick. Y'all don't believe me. I'm telling you, I've been following everything. I follow everything behind the scenes. I'll be looking at see what's happening. No, I can't watch it over there. Oh well. Yeah, we'll cover it tomorrow. We'll see what he over there doing in Africa. If he found Umar Johnson hiding in the bush somewhere. Let me read a couple of super chats and we'll move on. Not Scott Jennings. He walked in like Vince McMahon. Yes, he did. Pratt come before the downfall. Pratt cometh before the fall. Robinson, I agree with you. For the sake of the bag, Stephen A. Smith's got to reside in his safe space. I ain't mad at him. He trying to get that bag. He didn't notice he calls the Dems a them, not us. Yes. He should be calling them us and saying that they not like it. We certainly ain't like y'all. I wonder how all of the people that voted for Kamala Harris and was supporting Biden feel right now. Anyways, let's move on with the show. So Canada, all right? I want to give y'all, because now there's some leaks that's coming out as far as the meeting with what Prime Minister Trudeau meeting was when he flew down to Mar-a-Lago to have dinner, lunch, and Thanksgiving with Trump. And he had to go and kiss the ring. So there's been leaks about the conversation, and they saying that he had to kiss the ring. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Days after promising to impose huge tariffs that have the potential to cripple Canada's economy, President-elect Donald Trump sat down for dinner with the Prime Minister at his Florida resort. A hastily arranged visit both sides say was a success.
It was a very warm, cordial meeting, and I saw very much the mutual respect and warmth between the two leaders.
Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc was part of the small Canadian delegation that dined at Mar-a-Lago, Trump's sprawling estate on Palm Beach. While Trump has called Trudeau weak, dishonest, and a far-left lunatic in the past, there was none of that sort of talk Friday night, LeBlanc says.
Hey, man, I forgive you. Don't worry about it. Come on and fly over to Mar-a-Lago. I know I called you weak in the past. I know I called you a beta male. I know I told you that you had to drop your balls, and I didn't know if you was a part of the LGBTQ community. But that's all water under the bridge. Come on over to Mar-a-Lago before I throw these 25% tariffs on your behind. And come on over here, big dog. No. You get on the plane. Nope, I don't talk on phones no more. I only deal with people in person. So you got to fly here. Either you fly straight down from Canada, or we can have these 25% tariffs. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I said yesterday when I was looking at him, and I said, you know what? That he just kind of like a beta male. What's going on over in Canada? Canada, what's up with y'all? Y'all and y'all feminine energy? Canada, y'all doing the same thing that we did in 2020? What the hell is going on over in Canada? Imagine calling somebody all of those things only to come back and have them fly to try to negotiate with you, to beg you not to put tariffs on our country because it will absolutely cripple our economy. Don't worry about it.
He walked us to the cars, to the front door of Mar-a-Lago. He said to the Prime Minister, keep in touch, call me anytime, talk soon.
Trudeau promised Trump more money for better resources at the border to stem the flow of migrants and drugs.
Ooh, so we've learned from our 2016 snafu. We've learned. We've become a little bit better at strategy. Before we even get into office, he already got the Canadian Prime Minister flying down. Before we even get into office, Mexico's Claudia Sheinbaum, she a little tougher. She a little bit more stubborn. You know how women are. Women, they got that pride. They don't necessarily want to tell you that they was wrong. They just want to come in and lay next to you, get naked and then scoot next to you. No, I want an apology. I don't want you. Okay. I want an apology too, but don't put your clothes back on. That's what I say. No, you know you was wrong, but don't put your clothes back on. Just come on, scoot back into bed. Women are a little bit tougher, so I expect for Claudia to have some pride. She may lose about $10 billion before she give in to the demands of what we got fully, before she fully stop letting these people fly into her country and start breaking up these migrant caravans. You know what I'm saying? Women a little bit more stubborn. Guys, they like, you know what? I don't want to lose my job, so I humble myself. I bow before you. Women is a little bit different. So, you know, they use what they got to get what they want. But don't worry about it. We're going to get there. But he promised Trump more money to stem the flow of migrants into the country. Okay, that's a start. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to take away the 25% tariffs, but that's a start. Let's start there and let's continue.
Drugs into the U.S., something that was well received by Trump, who
Why
called...
you turning me down? Don't turn me down, Ashley. Don't you... This is the greatest news show on the face of the earth. Ashley, don't you turn me down, because you know I'm telling the truth. That's what it is. That's why it's so hard to That's why I don't want women in office. I ain't got time for that. So you going to use what you got to get what you want? No, that's not how we negotiate. We negotiate face to face like men. Don't walk in here naked talking about I want to talk about tariffs. Nope. I got a wife, and I forgot what her name is, but I got a wife. No, your apology. You ain't said no words talking about I apologized last night. What you mean you apologized last night? I didn't hear nothing. You ain't said no words talking about you apologized last night. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Let me get it around two. Let's continue.
The meeting very productive on social media. Trudeau left Florida with a smile.
It was an excellent conversation.
One of the things that is fairly unique about President Trump is how much he values personal relationships.
This former Trump official says Trudeau's visit was a diplomatic coup. It could help Canada avoid the worst of Trump's protectionist policies, he says.
And I think the willingness of the Prime Minister Trudeau to fly down to Mar-a-Lago and meet with him personally is a very significant move, and one that I think was appreciated.
This is the consequence of having a weak prime minister who's lost control.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre disagrees and panned the visit, saying it accomplished nothing. Trump's threat of a 25% tariff on Canadian goods still stands.
Normally, when a prime minister goes to the United States to meet a president, they're looking to make gains. What gains did we hear from Mr. Trudeau? None. He's just trying to limit losses.
Poilievre is demanding.
That's fair. Basically, the people over in Parliament or the people over there in Canada are having meetings, and they said, "Okay, so what did you get out of this? So you flew down there, you kissed the ring, and what did you come back with?" Because Trump certainly didn't say that he wasn't going to throw tariffs on Canada. They just promised more money. And they say that Trump told him that he can become the 51st state of the United States of America. Now that's trolling. That is absolutely trolling. All right, hold on. Let me give it to you from a different perspective. Let's talk about it.
At 12 minutes after the hour, another big story is the president-elect and the things that he's already talking about doing when he takes over. One, if you guys don't seal up your border in the north and seal up your border in the south, Mexico and Canada, 25% tariffs. And China, if you don't clean up the fentanyl situation, 10% on all, and anything coming into our country. So right away, there was a call from Trudeau, and then there was a visit. And he went down, he goes, let's just work this out. At which time, I think they were very blunt to each other. Yeah. And it looks as though in a standoff, he said, you got to fix your border. We got tens of thousands coming in. It's a lot less of a problem than the north, than the south. But there's a huge problem because you're not putting any assets there. The other issues is the drugs that come through to the governor of New Hampshire. But then when they started talking, he said, you can't put 25% tariffs on us. It will destroy my country, he said.
Right. And Fox News has spoken to two people who were at that table with Trudeau and the president. And the president was very direct about what he wants. He said Canada is letting in drugs and people from 70 different countries. And then here's a quote. that you'll find at foxnews.com. The president-elect told the prime minister if Canada cannot fix the border issues and trade deficit, he will levy a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods on day one when he returns to office. And
Dog, listen. That's how you know that we need masculinity back in office. He didn't mince words. He made him fly down and told him to his face. He hasn't even taken office yet. He made him fly down and told him to his face, hey, listen, bruh. If y'all can't get control of what's happening at the border, and if you can't fix this trade deficit to make it a little bit more even, to make sure that Americans benefit from it, mess around and find out. I will put a tariff on everybody. Y'all gonna have tariffs in Pelican Bay. I told you, I'm taking the same method. I told y'all yesterday, I told y'all over the weekend. Anytime that somebody pissed me off and I feel like it's an unfair, okay, I'm all right, you know what? Tariffs on everybody. No. You decided that you wanted to play games. Tariffs on everything. I'm putting tariffs on all these people that's in my circle. They wanted to deny me at the Pistons game when I was wearing my mega hat. Tariff. No, don't call me asking me, can you get tickets to this game? Tariff. Nope, don't call me and ask for me to use my Connect in order for you to get hotel rooms at the Badar or the Venetian or the Bellagio in Vegas. Tariff. Don't call me and ask me to use my Connect for you to be able to get your construction site. Can I get your number to your architect? Tariff. I'm putting tariffs on everybody. No, I remember. You was no, because I remember. Yeah. You the one that was talking tough. Tariff on everybody. Oh, don't raise my rent. No, tariff. Tariff. We don't have rent control here in Michigan. Tariff on everybody. That's why I want to own everything. I want to own everything. Tariff. What? Tariff. Tariff on everything and everybody. I'm throwing tariffs on the world. And what did Trudeau tell Trump after he said, if you don't get it together by the time I get into office, this is what's going to happen?
Trudeau, there was a little laughter there. Then Trudeau told him he can't levy the tariff because it would kill the Canadian economy completely. And Trump replied, asking, so your country can't survive unless it's ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion. And then Trump suggested to Trudeau that Canada become the 51st state, which caused the prime minister and others to laugh nervously.
Oh, dog. I suggest everybody go and pick up Trump's book called The Art of the Deal. He begged me and he said, dog, if you put a tariff on our country, it absolutely destroys our country as a whole. You know what Trump said? He said, so you telling me, word for word, he says, so what you gonna sit here and tell me
also
over here at Mar-a-Lago is that your country can't survive unless you ripping off U.S. consumers to the tune of $100 billion a year? Well, I suggest you go ahead and become the 51st state of the United States of America. And then they did one of these. Dog, listen. Man, come on. Y'all got to give Trump credit because he's governing better than Biden ever did, and he ain't even in office yet. You got to give him credit. Told him to his face, no mincing words, no bodyguards, no nothing. Sitting right next. So you telling me y'all can't survive? Y'all can't survive unless y'all ripping us off by $100 billion a year? Well, it look like y'all need to become the 51st state of the United States of America then. You need to change from Canada to the United States of Trump. And the people sitting there talking about, don't do tariffs. Don't do that. That's because y'all keep listening to y'all woman. You keep listening to the woman in your, that's why she running over you, big dog. Honest to God, real talk. This is why women feel confident running over men. You know why? Because you keep giving in to her. She telling you, not because she want to control you, but she doing the best that she can because she know that you won't pick it up and drop your balls and lead this household. You think that she want to be sitting there talking about where we need to pay bills? Most women that I know don't even want to know where the money coming from. They just want to spend. They just want to be able to wake up and spend and do what they want to do when they want to do it, and then they going to come home and give you that thing. That's a fact, though. That's a fact, though. We then became so feminized that we are looking to our femininity in order to make decisions. And that's why when they sitting there talking about but tariffs, Trump is going to put tariffs. No, it's going to fix us. It's going to fix the trade deficit, have more money coming into the U.S. economy, lower the cost of living, lower the cost of goods and services, keep more jobs in the United States of America, and force everybody else to pay their fair share. It ain't rich people that need to pay more money. It ain't the middle class people that need to pay more money. It's these other countries that we subsidize in order to make them feel good about themselves when they need to get their act together, because if you ain't got your act together, you lowering the property values. It's the same thing when we out here talking to our neighbors. I told my neighbor one day back when I was in there, I said, dog, you're going to have to cut your grass, dog. You got to cut your grass. I'm trying to sell my house. We trying to get up out of the hood. How I'm going to sell my house and your grass is big? You bringing down the property values, dog. Real talk. But y'all sit here and keep negotiating with these terrorists. These women keep telling y'all to be in y'all femininity. Dog, I'm not negotiating with no woman. Woman, sit down over there and let me do what I do. I'll talk to you later. I told you to go and get a massage. What you still doing here for? The next time that a woman tell you what you can't do when you're doing the thing that's in the best interest of the family, talk to her and say, hey, you count my money? Oh, you count money now. What did I tell you to do? What did I tell you to do? That's how I deal with Rita all day long. What did I tell you to do? You know, didn't I tell you to take a nap? That's why you tired, you sleepy. Put your phone down. Here, give me that phone. Take her phone, plug it up. Put that phone down. Time to take a nap. She just do like this. She just fall asleep immediately. Just fall asleep immediately. Because she ain't got nothing better to do but go to sleep, get a nap, get your rest on. Girl, you up here sitting here talking about what that ain't your problem. Put that phone down and go to sleep. She can't wait to take a nap. Can't wait for somebody to tell her to take a nap. Take a nap. Getting in grown man business. That's what Trump said. All right, enough. Get the feminine men out of office. We no longer negotiating. We gonna put tariffs on everybody. Keep on having a trade deficit over here. Keep on being nosy. Waking up every day, looking out. What y'all got going? Take a nap. Anyways, let's continue over. With the show. Let me read these super chats. AR, y'all keep having y'all in a partnership. Y'all don't have tradition like me. You in a partnership. You gotta get it cleared to pay your bills. AR says this was a waste of tax dollars and judicial time. If the end result was a pardon, another example of Dems' wasteful spending. Agreed. Double Jeopardy says, what up, though? I appreciate you. Levite Apparel is in the building, says, Anton, Stephen A. Word Salad is funny. You can't impeach or try a president for criminal acts while not serving as president. That's not lawful. K Dizzle in the building says, our election is fall 2025. Canada is still cooked, though. Oh, I'm going to be watching. Don't worry about it, K Dizzle. Y'all the neighbors. I'm looking at y'all right there. I see y'all over there. I see you. Right there, right across the water. You right there. That's Canada. All of that is Canada right there. I'm paying attention to everything that's happening in Canada. I'm watching my neighbors. I watch my neighbors all the time. I see y'all. See Caesar's Casino right there. I see all of Canada. Shout out to you. Good morning. I just love when. Oh, wait. I told you women like being held accountable. They love it. Shout out to my girl Ashley. Forsaken Archive says, what type of migrants are coming from Canada, being that you can see from your window? I don't see them walking across the river. I don't know how they get here. I just know that they be here. Trump told Trudeau, I'm going to tariff yo up. Crazy P says, Anton, your advice going to get some of these beta males kicked out of their woman's house. Well, that means I told y'all not to move into a woman's house in the first place. Y'all gonna get enough of listening to Umar Johnson. Y'all gonna get enough of listening to Umar Johnson. I told you. I think I see a migrant over there. I think I see an illegal trying to cross over. Let me get Trump on the phone. Give me a second. Yeah, I think I see a migrant caravan over there. Tariffs on Canada. Tariffs on Canada. You know what I'm saying? No, Windsor would be North Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about it. Anyways, y'all want to continue over with the show? We got to hold Chicago accountable before we get out of here. I told y'all to not listen. Don't sit here and say Anton got me kicked out of the house. It should have been your house in the first place. Mama Joe's, I'm not acting up. It should have been your house in the first place. There's no reason. I see a migrant right there. I see an illegal. Y'all don't see it? Let me show you. Right past the thing. Let me show you where he at. Right there. You see him? That's all right. Is this a tunnel? We got a tunnel. It's not just a bridge, it's also a tunnel that goes directly under, and then you come up right by the GM headquarters. All right, so let me tell y'all what's up. So on this way, back that way, there is 2 bridges that's being built. Now, it's a tunnel that goes right here. This is where you cross over into Canada and you drive under the water and then you come out right there. So it actually appears right there, and then this is Jefferson where people go, and then they go into the tunnel and then they go straight over into Canada right there. So literally it's a tunnel. I can be over to Canada in less than 20 minutes if I leave right now. I can be over to Canada if I leave right now and go straight through the tunnel, or I can go over to Ambassador Bridge and then they building another bridge, the Gordie Howe Bridge. So a lot of people don't know that, but it is literally a tunnel that runs right under the water and it goes over into Canada. So yeah, man. All right, y'all. I'm pointing to fishermen. No, that's an illegal. I know an illegal when I see one. I'm watching him. He trying to wait for the Coast Guard to go by. I'm watching him. Y'all ready to get into the next thing? We got to hold Chicago accountable before we get out of here today. Shout out to everybody that subscribed to the channel. At least hit a like for the algorithm. The likes is a little low. I put too much effort into making sure that y'all have a good day every single day. I put too much effort into making sure that y'all have a good day every single day and get y'all morning started off right with this entertainment. We put the medicine inside of the candy and we add value into y'all life. All right. So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. That's your reasonable service. If you've been here more than once, make sure you subscribe and hit a like for the algorithm, and then turn on your notifications. Tap in, and then join the Patreon. The link is in the description, and come and kick it with your boy. We got Stock Club coming up next week, Block Club this week, and then I'm dropping a video as soon as I get done with this live stream today. All right, in the Patreon. All right, y'all. We got to bring Chicago to the front of the congregation. I am aware of my surroundings. If that tunnel was Mexico, yeah, okay. All right, let's continue on with the show. Canada is your country, nice shirt. Oh, okay. All right. I like that. We got to bring Chicago to the front of the congregation because I don't like Brandon Johnson. I'm going to be honest. I gave him a chance. He didn't meet my expectations. I gave him a chance. He didn't meet my expectations. And so we got to bring him to the front of the congregation, okay? They told him. I told him. Chicagoans told him. Illinoisans told him. Daltonites told him. Shout out to Tiffany Henyard. I keep seeing videos about you. I don't even want to talk about your big head no more. Everybody told him. Everybody told him. We don't want a tax hike. Figure out how to balance the budget. Get back to pre-pandemic level spending and make sure that we don't get a property tax hike. It's not reasonable. It doesn't make sense. We already the most taxed in the country. They told him. You know what he came back with? $60 million tax hike instead of $150 million. Dummy.
As the chill of December sets in, many city council members are still not warming up to the idea of a property tax hike of any kind.
Residents are already squeezed enough, and they cannot afford another property tax.
The mayor's $300 million property tax hike was voted down 50-0, but the latest working plan has cut that down to just $60 million. That's about the amount it would go up if the mayor took the automatic increase tied to inflation.
Well, the fact that we started at 300, then we went to 150, now we're maybe talking about 60. Is extremely troubling to me because, number one, it appears that, we should have started at 60.
The mayor would not talk specifics, saying he won't negotiate in the media, but he made it clear he was dead set against cuts.
The people of Chicago say a lot of things to me, but they never say, Mayor Johnson, could you just cut these services? Mayor Johnson, can you just lay off more people?
One alder is proposing the council be updated on budget data quarterly to avoid the end-of-year scramble now underway.
Because if we're just shooting from the hip at the end of the year, we might find out next year the projections are wildly off and see a bigger problem.
One proposed revenue source that is off the table now is the increase in the liquor tax, which drew strong opposition from the restaurant industry.
Some people will say, well, why won't they throw a liquor tax on there? Well, it's not about whether or not it's charging more people money for liquor. It's about whether or not it kills small businesses who are struggling to stay open in the first place. And because you don't understand finance and economics, and y'all nominated and then elected a third grade teacher or whatever grade that he was teaching that also supported defund the police in order to be mayor of Chicago, now you're dealing with somebody that thinks that they can continue to raise spending without more revenue and businesses leaving, people fleeing, property taxes, losing their homes. Chicago is going more red than ever before. And because y'all supported this person who was just a teacher and had no idea how to look at things from a business perspective, not only did he become a part of the agenda of the Democratic Party, all they had to do was cut the spending of the migrant crisis. He just renewed a $100 million contract while at the same time trying to raise property taxes anywhere from $60 to $300 million that keep getting rejected 50-0. I want to know where the money is. Forget the politics. Politics is just big money. I'm not going into politics unless I can figure out where the money is. Can I sell a book once I leave office about how corrupt these people are? Will it be profitable? Can I sell some merch? What's going on? I want to know how I can make money in politics before I get into it, because I'm not about to sacrifice my platform and how much money I make right now to do good for the community that ain't going to appreciate you anyway. Where the money at? That's all I want to know is where the money at. Who hiding it? Who getting broke off? Who getting money on a side deal? Who got some sad chicks? Who getting some sad whatever? Where is the money at? Where the money at? Too much money is flowing out of Chicago, and the people need to demand accountability. Who owns these companies that's getting these staffing contracts, these $100 million staffing contracts, and why they getting so rich on the back of y'all and they're not even in Chicago? Who owns these companies?
Mayor's Budget Committee chair predicts some form of property tax increase will eventually pass.
I think that ultimately we have to fund government at a level that people expect for the services to be continued.
For now, the negotiations continue behind the scenes.
We're in the midst of negotiations with alders. We're in the midst of hearing their ideas. We're in the midst of running numbers based on what they're asking us.
They failed y'all. Your legislators failed you, will continue to fail you, and they always fail you. Your legislators have failed you. It's unfortunate too. It is. It's unfortunate. Hello.
up, bro? This DoorDash driver. What's your last name for the okay, what's your apartment number for the people at the front desk?
I don't want to tell the apartment number. Just tell them it's for Anton. The DoorDash is gonna say Jason, but tell them it's for Anton.
It's somebody named Anton. Okay.
I'll. Who's down there? Who's down there?
It's the people at the desk, concierge and leasing. They're saying you have to come down and grab it.
There's nobody that can bring it up to me.
Okay. Yeah.
You could just leave it down there. You can leave it down there. I'll call down there and have them bring it up. Anyways, got to change the name. Can't having them know who it is that's out here in these streets. But they failed y'all. Let me go over to another one, and then we're going to go from there.
Well, after a week off for Thanksgiving, city council members are looking to sell about $806 million.
I'm going to have to change my name now. Everybody knows Jason. I'm going to change my name to something different. Maybe I'm going to change my name to Quentin. Hey, make sure that y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. It's going to be a fun show. I'm going to have all my friends on there.
A municipal bond refinancing, all while there's a budget standoff with the mayor. Tia Ewing is in Studio 32 of what this could mean for you. Tia.
Well, Terrence, it simply means that property owners will still pay something. And let's break it down. After council rejected Johnson's $300 million property tax increase, they are now scrambling to find other ways to fill that budget gap, considering smaller measures like higher taxes on alcohol, cloud computing, and garbage fees. Selling the bonds, though, will help to refinance debt and close a nearly $1 billion budget gap by year's end. The city plans to borrow $680 million using sales tax, backed debt, and $127 million in general obligation bonds. The money will help save on debt payments, but won't fully solve the shortfall. If Chicago can't pass a budget soon, taxpayers may face even more financial strain. Many of them were fired up at today's council meeting. One resident had a mouthful for the mayor.
Let's start with you, your salary.
Oh, that's my homegirl.
You are going down in history as the worst mayor in America. Let's start with cutting yours. You making too much money. Let's start there. And now let's start with the police detail you had, the 200 police detail you had. Let's start with that. Because you Democrats, and you remember you told us to defund the police. Remember, you ran on that. Remember, you was to defund the police. Ooh. Let's start with that. Let's defund the police detail that you have. And let's put the police back in our neighborhood, because we're not for defunding the police.
Listen. Let me break this down for y'all, okay? I want y'all to understand what's happening here. Chicago is looking for what we call creative financing, okay? Creative financing is a way for you to hold on, but it doesn't solve the fundamental problem of why you have a budget shortfall in the first place. And this is why this is dangerous. Okay, let me give it to you from a C student's perspective, but also from a businessman's perspective. So, what they were proposing is to pass the cost increases and their inept way of doing business onto the consumers, right? So historically, politicians, and this is one of the reasons why the Department of Government Efficiency, headed up by Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, is so important, because they're there to eliminate government waste, lower the amount of money that we have going into the federal government from the taxpayers, while at the same time reducing the deficit because we're overspending. It's just like you managing your own regular budget. But they decided to get creative. So it's similar to what people do a lot of times when they don't have money, but then they trying to tap into their assets, or they try to tap into resources to make sure that they can survive. It doesn't solve the fundamental problem of their spending. It doesn't solve the fundamental problem of their lifestyle, but they're refinancing. They're refinancing at a time where Chicago's rating, their credit rating, is going down. Yes, Chicago's credit rating is in jeopardy. And so what that does is, it's the same thing when you have a credit rating, when you got less than a 740, when you start getting into the 6s and the 5s, it's called subprime lending. That means that it's not prime, it's below prime, which means that you're a riskier lend for the possibility of you going bankrupt, in order for you to be able to grab more money out, they are going to charge you more interest. In addition to that, interest rates are higher than when they originally issued these bonds. So what does that mean? That means that they can refinance, get better terms, maybe a longer term, similar to how you go and refinance your car. You went from 60 months to 72 to 84 to 96 months. Now you're paying a longer car note, you got a lower payment, you can then pay your bills for now, but it doesn't justify the fact that you're giving more money over to the bank. So Chicagoans, because they don't understand the finances behind government and they don't understand the finances behind business, what they did was they went back to the negotiation table. They said, all right, so we're not going to raise taxes as much. We still need 60 million. We're going to refinance this debt. We're going to issue more bonds. And then we're going to pay a higher interest rate at a longer term. And we're basically kicking the can down the road in order to eliminate the debt that the city got going in. And so instead of lowering the amount that we're spending, increasing revenue by making sure that we bring more businesses in, what we're doing is refinancing the debt at a higher rate at a longer term, which is going to force your children's children to be paying into the system, and their taxes is going to be raised at some point in the future. They're taking the debt that they have, they're refinancing and cashing out to get a cash influx so that they can satisfy you now, and then they're mortgaging your future, and they're saddling you with interest payments, and they're running the government inefficiently. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's better for you to deal with the headache now than to be dealing with it later. Some people ask me all the time, they say, Anton, should I invest or should I pay off my debt? The answer is the same all the time. For those of y'all that's looking to get a coaching call and you trying to ask, if your question is, I'm going to save you some money. If your question is, Anton, should I invest this lump sum of money, or this money that I'm making, I got a raise on my job, or I got an inheritance, or I got an insurance payout, or I got something, whatever it is, should I invest the money or should I pay off my debt? Pay off the debt. It is easier to climb the mountain when you don't have rocks in your backpack. I know the interest rates that you're giving over into the bank. And then you can start to do the reverse compounding method of basically taking your assets and letting it compound over a period of time to continue to run up the bag. Get rid of the debt. There is nothing like sitting there every single month when you do your budget. And I got a budgeting video that is coming. Actually, I got a live stream that I'm doing before the beginning of the year inside of the Patreon to give you a more expert way for you to budget and project out exactly how you can generate more revenue by taking the money that you have and budgeting it differently. Sometimes it's just replugging in the numbers differently so that you can see it different and make better decisions. It is going to be the best budgeting video that you've ever seen in your life. There is nothing like it on the internet. I am going to do a live stream, not a video, a live stream, so that you guys will be able to ask me questions and I'll give you more insight on how I budget my money. And it's going to be the greatest budget video that y'all ever seen in your life. It's going to change your life. I promise you that. Okay? But what I'm telling you is that it is nothing like waking up in the morning. And when I go to pay the bills on the 30th, the 31st, the 1st of the month, and all of my bills is business related, and almost zero is personal. Paying the internet, paying a cell phone bill, paying insurance. That's about it. When you have no liabilities and you can plow 99% of all of your resources into your investments, is different. It's a whole nother play. Trust me, not having a car note is a flex. I don't care if you're driving a jalopy. I don't care if you're driving something broke. I don't care what you do. My point is that if you don't have a car and you take public transportation, it is a greater flex than to be sitting there with a car note that you can't write off, that you're paying taxes to the federal government so that you can pay for a car note, insurance, and gas, and pay interest to a finance company just so people cannot care about what you pull up in. Most of the time when I'm down here in Detroit, I take Ubers or I take public transportation. People see me all the time. I'll be on the People Mover for free. It's free. I'll be on the queue line for free, or I just walk. I tend to take Ubers a little bit more when it get cold outside because I don't feel like, because even me living right here where I am, the People Mover is directly across from my building. If I show you, look, let me show you. You see the train track down there? See the train track the train track that flows all the way down here? That's what I take. I take that over to my office. I jump off. I get up. I cook up. I do the Millionaire Morning Show. I do whatever it is that I got to do. And then I catch the train back and I just jump off right in front of my building and I'm chilling. I don't need a car. I don't need a car. The greatest flex is to not have certain bills that you can avoid. I'm telling you, stay down until you come up. Throw everything that you have into eliminating the costs. Thank me later. Waking up, not having to worry about whether or not you this and that, so on and so forth. You can start spending your money on stuff that actually matter. Stuff that actually matter. I catch the train, catch public transportation for free. It's fun. I get to stop off and explore. I see things that I ain't never seen before. I kick it with people on the train. I have a good time. I'm slow motion. All right? So, anyways, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me read a couple of super chats. I'll get y'all out, get y'all up out of here. Double Jeopardy. Shout out to Double Jeopardy. I appreciate you. The Green Monster says change DoorDash to crashing out. Let me go get my breakfast. They got my breakfast down there at the door. And they must have got some new people because it was supposed to be the guy, my door guy. He must be off today because usually he'll bring it up to me. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And then we back at it in the morning, all right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Get your tickets to come and kick it with me December 14th. Molly, send me a follow-up email. I got your email, but send me a follow-up email because I'm about to call you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.